I figured this time I'd do it more normalized and not sit here and be acting like a fool. Because I'm making one more stick of butter. But I'm going to make a garlic, do a garlic based one, so yeah. Oh, it's going to be a little more than expected. And you get to shake these suckers up pretty good. Takes a few minutes, and it's tiring. If you happen to catch the brief moment one that I had before I enlisted it, yeah, that son of a bitch. Shaking this stuff is not always easy, and it's a pain in the butt. But it takes a few minutes of doing this. Not really a few minutes, it only takes a couple minutes. And when I go to add the garlic, I'm probably going to do it a little different. Instead of folding it into the butter, I'm going to, once it gets to a certain consistency, I'll sprinkle a little garlic powder into the mixture before it fully solidifies. This is actually something fun that people, folks can do with their kids or whatever. You could actually add any other flavors and all that you want to your butter by making your own. So, like, instead of garlic, let's say if you want to have fun, you can add taco seasoning. And yeah. So, I mean, I'm just doing the garlic butter. So that way, well, it's good on bread, of course. That's obviously what it's for, but then I can cook, when I go to cook, I can cook with it too. And after a bit, you'll start to feel it thicken up. It's like right now, it's starting to thicken up a little bit, but plus, in my mind, when you're making your when you're making your own butter, at least you know what's going in it. At least you know how much salt's going in it. Yeah, and that there's not anything else added to it, unless they're adding hormones to the shit. But thankfully, this company, I don't know if you can see it, they don't do that stuff. They don't add hormones to the animals with them, or treat it with this RBST shit. But yep, you definitely get a little bit of a workout. So if you need to get your heart rate up and do all that fun stuff, this is a good way to do it too. Now I did put this back in the fridge after I was done with the last batch. And it's usually easier to work with it when it's a little bit more at room temperature. And that's why, like, if you watch the last vid of me being an idiot, you'd see that, when I got done and went to go put it in the fridge, it was still like almost like what is it, like just a soft, like a spreadable butter, but made a little bit of a mess when I opened that up. No, after I got done with that last little batch earlier, I had ran down to the market. When I was walking back, I had noticed we had like we had a bobcat in the neighborhood. It wasn't a big one. It was a small one. The paws were about that big around, maybe a little bigger. But yeah, I could tell it wasn't a house cat. It was definitely too big to be a house cat. And yeah. So they're probably passing through, obviously, because we get coyotes that pass through. They go right down the road here and head out towards the pastures and then towards the lake. So I'm not surprised if we've got the bobcat and all that coming through. We have cougar that'll come through here every now and then. And bears, coyotes all the time, as I said. Well, every now and then you'll get lucky and see wolves here. First year here, we had them coming through the yard. You know, the wolves used to come through quite a bit. But then once we put the fence up and our dogs ran around and did their business, the wolves just sort of went their way. That's just kind of how it goes. that winter actually was there was kind of funny at one moment. Well, it was more like that fall. I had let the dogs out, and I went out there with us before we had I had put up a fence on the property, so I knew I couldn't really leave them out there, and all because I would have to worry about them heading towards the highway. Well, I go stepping out into the yard because I had only was in the house for like maybe an extra moment, like a minute. And I go stepping out, and I go to call for the dogs. Oh, wait, that's what it was. I had the porch. I don't know if you've seen it in any of the other vids I've done. But the porch area was fenced off, and the dogs got out of that. That's what happened. This was before I could get the fence up. And it was the only way I could really let the dogs be able to go outside. Until I could get that fencing. Well, they had got out of that little fenced area in their dog run area. And so I go to call them, and all of a sudden I look towards the back of the property, and I see this. I see these deer go running on the back road right here, going towards the other neighbors. You had a big old buck there, and then you had, obviously some does there, and then another, younger buck, and it was like about 5 or 6 deer, all running. And I'm looking, and there's Coda, and right behind him is Chunk, and then there's Andy, and then there's Tiny, and then there's Masha, and they're all chasing these deer right up in the fucking mountain. I was dying laughing. It's like there's these little dogs, not much, about the same size as a Cocker Spaniel, or a Jack Russell Terrier, chasing down a herd of fucking deer like they're gonna hunt them down or something. It was too funny. Ooh, it's getting that creaminess. A little bit more. Yeah. So what happens when you accidentally put just a smidge too much in. It wasn't much different from the first batch, but yeah. There's effects difference. Differences, obviously. With the temperature of the cream. Take it down, Mr. Bear. This batch is obviously going to be a little more messier to make than that first one. And when it's cold, as you notice, it takes a little bit longer. little bit different. That way I'm not getting it up, just keep, you know, using the towel, but this, there's an air bubble. But yep. It's almost done. So this will be the moment that I'll sprinkle in a little bit of the, excuse me, garlic powder. Don't need a whole bunch. Yeah, I'll stir it in a little bit. Now I might actually add a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit. Didn't mean to do that part for those who get offended by hand gestures. There we go. Another quick little careful stir. Because this is real close to that point where once I start shaking this a little bit more, it'll not only solidify, but it's gonna separate the buttermilk from the butter. Parquet. My hands are all over my ass. You can start seeing how it's solidifying up more and more. I do that on purpose to kind of help knock that air through a bit. And if you haven't noticed, it gives you quite the workout, as I said. See? Now this one, I'm not going to press out like I did the other one. I mean, I got a feeling a lot of that buttermilk ended up in the towel on the counter anyways. But give it another couple smacks and shakes. Here we go. Oh man, that smells fucking awesome. Buttermilk over in here, because, well, was expecting at least some. Usually save it to make buttermilk pancakes. I should have enough there anyways to make some. To at least make a small batch. But, yeah. Let's see here. I got the heel, or the butt. And yeah, I can sit and turn this more. This could use some more shaking, but put this in the fridge, it'll solidify up a little bit more. Let's see it. I mean, so, see? A little bit of that garlic butter and fuck yeah. That's some good shit, I'm telling you. But anyways, that's a little less weird way of making some butter. Now if you do the same thing, you're just gonna, in this case, you're probably gonna add a little less. You want to put about 2/3 of the jar in there. Fill it to about there. Just shake up. It'll get to a point, it'll get to about this consistency, and then you can shake it some more and keep going. And then eventually you'll notice that the buttermilk will completely separate, where the butter itself will completely compact and clump together. I did this way intentionally so that it makes it easier to spread about. So, but if you want to have a tougher butter, I guess more firm butter, you bring it to that point where the buttermilk is separated. You got your clump of butter. Pour out the buttermilk. Then if you want, shake it a little more. But usually that's when you put it onto some parchment or wax paper and press it out. There's other ways that you can press the buttermilk out of it. You gotta press the living buttermilk out of that shit. And then put it to the side, whatever. And then you can roll it up. Oh, it's good. But this is what I made in the last vid. Being an idiot. But it's, yeah. Homemade butter for like $2 for a jar like this and an extra cube. So, and this stuff will still last you as long as you keep it cooled in the fridge like typical butter. So I would say I would give it maybe a couple weeks, you know, to be in that safe zone. I'd be within no more than 1 to 2 weeks. You want to eat it quick or whatever. That like I said, the garlic butter I just made, I'll be using that. I'll use that for cooking. I'll probably put some to the side here and freeze it. So that way I have some for Christmas dinner. But yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. And I hope you enjoyed that little less crazy vid on making butter. Thanks for watching.